announcements from the library. First of all, keep watch out on the library website. There will be a used book sale sometime in the month of October. They're culling through the books currently. And then the Scarecrow Walk is returning for its second anniversary. There will be a Scarecrow construction event at the library on Tuesday, October 8th, all day long. So you can come and construct your scarecrow then, or you can sign up at the library, make your scarecrow at home, and bring it in. And the Scarecrow Walk will take place from the 14th of October through the 3rd of November on the trails behind the library.
I have a short one, but I'll let Supervisor Cole go and then Supervisor Gabriel.
I've got about 25 things, so I'll get started. The first one is that just a reminder that the new kayak launch has been installed at Walden Park. It was a smooth process. People are enjoying it. It's $20 for 2 hours, $10 for additional hours, and fall's a great time to go kayaking. Check that out. And the second one is Rome is a bird city. To keep that bird city designation, we need to have educational programs. So Visit Rome is sponsoring a Day for the Birds, celebrating World Migratory Bird Day. So you bird lovers, that is on Saturday, September 21st. And I urge you, I don't want to read all the details, but go to visitromewi.com. You can get all the information. And that's also where you get all your information about events, what's going on in town. And as always, the official place for Rome business is romewi.com. .gov. Oops, it just changed like a couple weeks ago. Sorry about that. romewi.gov.
Okay, and then I would like to bring up Jerry Wiesinger, who wanted to present something this evening to the police chief, town administrator.
Good evening, Jerry Wiesinger, representing the hometown for Rome. Snow Bandits, Snowmobile Club. A few months ago, a few years ago, we developed a community fund for giving donations to local charities, nonprofits, and fundraisers. One of the funds that we feel is very worthwhile is the Rome PD K-9 fund. So we have $1,000 to give to the police department.
Thank you, Trail Boss Jerry Wiesinger, and to the rest of the Snow Bandits. Very generous. Numbers are climbing. All right, number 8, department and committee reports. Do you have any questions or comments on the report? Anybody? Okay. Moving right along, discussion and possible action on the following items. Discussion and possible action, approval of the September 5th, 2024 meeting minutes.
I'll move to approve the September meeting minutes.
We have a motion by Supervisor Cole, second by Supervisor Evenson for the approval of the September 5th, 2024 meeting minutes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action. Checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries. Approved checks number 46667 through 46773 totaling $1,007,647.11. Auto payments totaling $79,219.15. State Social Security Medicare withholdings totaling $38,094.48. Payroll vouchers V22481 through V22631 totaling $111,993.64. And a check number 21682 totaling $526.86. Receipts number 25871 through 25918 totaling $2,072,503.32.
Move to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented. Move to approve the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented.
I'll second.
Motion by Supervisor Minter, second by Supervisor Cole for approval of the checks, vouchers, receipts, and journal entries as presented. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 17, we move prior to number 11, would be discussion and possible action. Recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding consideration of a site plan of operation for Lake Camelot Property Owners Association, Inc., doing business as Lake Camelot Lodge LLC, to expand the current operations at 298 Leisure Lane, also described as Lot 74, Chester addition to Lake Camelot, located in the southwest quarter, southeast quarter, section 09, town 20 north, range 06 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin, for the parcel number of 030-05222-0000. We did receive some additional documentation in the latter part of the day from Lake Camelot, as far as the actual, somebody had asked at Plan Commission meeting about the elevation, and they sent those materials to us. They were on your desk, you should have them.
If there's any additional questions, I'm here to.
Oh, did you want to come up, Dan, in case it, or no, not really, unless I.
No, I'm having flashbacks.
Madam Chair, I can give a little bit of background to the packet materials.
That would be great, thank you.
So this item relates to a site plan of operation filed by Lake Camelot Property Owners Association to allow for an addition to their existing building at 298 Leisure Lane. The Plan Commission did consider this item at its meeting on September 10th, 2024, where a public hearing was held, after which there was a recommendation made by the Plan Commission to approve the site plan of operation with two conditions noted. The first condition, that the colors of the addition be complementary to the existing buildings. Second, to work with the neighbors regarding screening. I believe there was a comment made during the public hearing, and an acknowledgement and working between them was a recommendation.
Does anybody have any questions for me? You're representing Lake Camelot? No?
I'll make a motion to approve the site plan of operation for Lake Camelot Property Owners Association, doing business as Lake Camelot Lodge LLC, to expand its current operation at 298 Leisure Lane.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Gabriel, second by Supervisor Cole, to approve the recommendation for the Plan Commission regarding consideration of a site plan of operation for the Lake Camelot Property Owners Association, Inc., doing business as Lake Camelot Lodge.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
one question for the motion.
Oh.
Is that also to adopt the recommendations from the Plan Commission?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll have my second.
Okay. So we have an amendment to the first and the second for adopting the findings of facts and recommendations from the Plan Commission. Any more discussion? All in favor?
I think it looks great, and I think your renderings look really nice, and I want to thank Lake Camelot for improving what's already a nice facility for everybody to use.
Thanks, we appreciate that. And we also appreciate the support from Visit Rome on some of the shoreline restoration projects that are going to be taking place there. By the way, this is not plugged in.
Talk loud. Speak up. I'm the manager, and I just moved it in here, so, sorry.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 18, discussion and possible action. Recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding consideration of a site plan of operation for Scenic Valley Properties LLC, doing business as Creighton Pines, for construction and operation of a container and small home resort development on a 10-acre portion of property within the Rome Town Center, described as follows, being part of parcel number 030-01136-0501, located in part of the northwest quarter, and northeast quarter, northwest quarter of section 17, town 20 north, range 6 east, town of Rome, Adams County, Wisconsin. Did you want to give an update on that one as well then?
Sure.
Attorney Klein?
So this item relates to a site plan of operation for a container and small home resort development on property located in Rome Town Center. Similar to the last item, a public hearing was held at the Plan Commission meeting on September 10th, 2024, after which the Plan Commission made a recommendation to approve the site plan of operation with the following conditions noted. First, that parking areas shall be paved. Second, that a gravel driveway would be permitted, but it must be operated in an dust-free manner to avoid nuisance to the adjacent properties. And part of what would be related to that then would be that the driveway must be paved within 150 feet of the entrance and exit points. Finally, there was a condition that it shall return to the Plan Commission for a review of the final plans for the building prior to.
Do you have any?
I move to approve the site plan of operation for the Scenic Valley Properties LLC for the property in the Rome Town Center, including the conditions as noted by the Planning Commission, that the parking areas are to be paved, that there may be gravel driveway, but it must be operated in a dust-free manner, and that there will be paving of 150 feet of the entrance and exit of the driveway, and they will return to the Planning Commission for final plans on the buildings.
Wildfire Community Preparedness Day.
We did receive additional renderings today of, very similar to what we've received in the past from different businesses, renderings of what those buildings will look like, and we also have measurements and diagrams of what each home would be like, the square footage. And I would like to entertain an amendment to that, that we would put that back to our zoning administrator and building inspector, as we've done in the past, to allow them to work with the business owner and only bring back to the Plan Commission what they deem necessary. Because I think we have everything we need now. Would you be
Can I
able
ask the attorney's opinion on that?
I don't know that that goes against necessarily what the Plan Commission had discussed, although the zoning administrator might also provide an opinion there. I think the concern at that time was there was a number of different potential renderings that was presented to the Plan Commission, and the Plan Commission's concern was when she settled on a final design, that they'd be able to review that. And so I don't know that it goes against that, now that we have a final design, but that would be up to you all to commit to.
I'll ask the developer, would that be okay with you?
Can you clarify that? So, the plans that I have given.
Yeah.
I don't think that was Can you rephrase that again? So
I
the ones
believe
that
what
I've
the-
given today, the ones that came up on today versus last time.
I believe what the chairwoman was asking was that before you take the final building plans to the Planning Commission for approval, that you work with the building inspector and zoning administrator to make sure that they're code compliant,
Oh, of course.
and then do that. Okay, then I will amend my motion to include that prior to presentation with the Planning Commission of the final building plans, that the developer work with the building inspector and town zoning administrator to ensure compliance with the zoning codes.
that would,
you
yeah.
for the plan?
Yeah. So we have a motion and a second. Lexi, did you want to add something? This is Lexi, our zoning administrator.
Hello, so I will add on to what Nick had previously said. At the time of Plan Commission, we did not have official plans. We had some documents of like ideas of the layout, but we did not have official plans. So you guys are seeing them, and I feel pretty comfortable with you guys seeing them as well. I don't think that goes against Plan Commission. Their concern with it was that they didn't have any visual, like, confirmed plans at the time.
So now she's zeroed in on actual floor plans, renderings, what the outside of the buildings would look like, and what the interiors would look like, the square footage, decking, and everything. Not now. No, not now, ma'am. Any more discussion?
So if I'm understanding,
If I'm under, well,
Some of them work, some of them won't.
if I'm understanding the motion correctly, it does have to go back before the planning commission for final approval. Am I correct on that?
Yes, that's our intention.
Oh, that was, no, my understanding is we would allow the zoning administrator and the building inspector to work with her closely on these renderings she provided us. This is how these are gonna look now. We have the
I'd
actual,
still like to see those go back to the planning commission after consultation with the zoning administrator and building inspector.
okay. All
I
right,
would
then I'll,
just add that these renderings do not look like what was first presented to CBA. And so I really would like it to go back to planning commission because these final renderings don't look like the brochures that CBA initially received on this project. They look substantially different. So I'd like it to go back to make sure they are meeting all zoning requirements and design standards.
okay. So just for clarification, so everyone in the audience knows too, the CDA is our Community Development Authority. They approve the sale of the land. Plan Commission is the one that approves the design and the layout and everything respective to design, layout, site plan, plan of operation. So that's why there's the talk of the two different bodies here. So, I'll, if you'll accept my second amendment.
I will second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second to, on my agenda, sorry. We have a motion and a second to approve the recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding the consideration of the site plan of operation for Scenic Valley Properties LLC doing business as Creighton Pines for construction and operation of container and small home resort development on a 10-acre portion of property within the Rome Town Center. That is to include the findings of fact on the site plan document from the Planning Commission, as well as allowing the zoning inspector, building inspector to work with Amy on the actual design and layouts of these homes. Correct? Okay.
I do want to make one thing clear though. The floor plan that I did get, the floor plan that I did present at the very first meeting with the video is exactly this floor plan. So this shouldn't be a surprise. I tried to make the exterior of this building look better than what was proposed initially. That was something I strived to do and strive to do more.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah, it did look pretty good. It did look like the video that we had seen in interior photos, so. All right, any more discussion? Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Opposed.
Motion carries. With Supervisor Cole opposing. Okay. Number 9, we'll go back to number 11 now. Discussion and possible action. Review of status and needs for the Rome Town, or for the town transfer site and possible residential collection. To the A, authorization of a issuance of an RFP for a residential collection contract. And as you recall, we're going to have our exchange. We're going to allow staff to present to us because some of us are learning this. Well, in fact, all of us are learning this ourselves for the first time tonight. And once we have our information from Brett, our Public Works Director, and our Town Administrator, we will have our dialogue and exchange to understand this further. And then we will allow comments from the public, one at a time for 1 minute each. Thank you. Brett, do you want to come on up here to the podium, or? Your mic isn't working either, but you could yell.
I can't hear it. I got a message from my husband.
Tom towards one better.
This one.
Yeah, Tom's working.
Okay, thanks to everyone for coming out this evening. There are various reasons this is being brought to the town board this evening. As people should know, Adams County Highway, or Adams County Solid Waste owns and pulls the compactor units. The rates have raised from $110 per pull in 2023 to $220 in 2025. This started the process of us looking into the town purchasing its own compactors. When talking with the salesman for the compactors, it was brought to our attention that the compactor units we currently have on site don't meet ANSI safety standards. Compactor units need to be enclosed when the unit is being operated. You should not be able to touch or see the compacting operation. There also needs to be safety switches that if the door is opened during operation, the system shuts down. Also, the compactor needs to have an e-stop by each door and operate within 3 feet. I did go and tour another transfer site that has the same compactors as one the town would be considering to purchase. At this time, we'll go through a couple of options. And keep in mind, these are just a couple of preliminary options that can always be adjusted and changed to meet the needs. Option 1. Under this route, a resident, if the town goes this route, a resident would drive up, put their garbage in the compactor, a staff member would close the door when full and start the compacting process. The process with these new compacting units takes 3 to 4 minutes. The doors could then be reopened and the process repeated. This would be a much slower process than currently in place and require an extra staff member to be by each unit at all times. With that, the town will be looking to add 1 to 2 more staff members to each shift. The town would then be purchasing these 2 new compactors and 3 receivers at a cost of $86,185.92. The town would also need to have a fence installed around the property. The cost for this fence is not known at this time. Preliminary cost for operating the transfer site in 2025 under this option is roughly $460,000. Keep in mind that this is without the cost of the fence. If the town would choose to eliminate the open-top construction dumpsters, there would be a savings of $155,850. That is option 1. Next, we'll go to option 2. Keep the transfer site open to residents that don't want to receive the curbside pickup. The transfer site will be open from 10 to 2 on Sundays. The town would not purchase the new compactors and use existing dumpsters. There would be 3 attendants working on Sundays from 10 to 2. Without the open-top construction dumpsters, this option would cost $124,000. Next, option 3. Close the transfer site to all garbage and have no exposure to liability to the town, and transition to curbside pickup for all residents. I will note that under options 2 and 3, the transfer site will remain open to brush and grass on Wednesdays, 2 to 7. Wednesdays from 2 to 7. Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2, beginning April 1st and ending November 15th.
We're in the process of purchasing a new system, and it's an installed yet, so we're in the, yeah.
All right, let's go back to, it should be noted under options 2 and 3, the transfer site will be open to brush and grass Wednesdays from 2 to 7, Saturday and Sunday from 10 to 2, beginning April 1st and ending November 15th. Lastly, if the transfer site is remain open to garbage in any form, the attendant will be at the gate verifying all tags. If you don't have a visible tag, you will be directed out. They will be checking loads and controlling traffic flow. Cars will be held until there is room by the dumpsters. Going forward, the transfer site will maintain a single file, orderly line to ensure the safety of everyone. There have been too many close calls of people almost getting run over. Today, Administrator Lobby and I met with Ted Hayes, the Senior Risk Manager from M3 Insurance. He provided a 5-page summary to us, which was just emailed this afternoon about 1:30. I will read to you now the conclusion from the summary. In my professional opinion, a combination of risk avoidance and risk transfer protocols should be implemented. The lack of compactor safety controls and the potential accident, injury, and general liability exposures are too great to allow the transfer site to continue operating. Consideration should be given to shutting down the transfer site as soon as possible so appropriate corrective controls can be implemented. Which is why you'll note that the compactors will not be used this weekend. Instead, there'll be dumpsters down behind the scrap metal bin for the household garbage waste, and then those are filled, will transition to other dumpsters. This decision tonight should not focus on just the monetary aspect of this, but also on making measures to keep the users safe and protect the town from exposure to liability. Also, as we are discussing tonight, I would like the board and residents to think about where the town has been and how it is growing. I had a conversation this morning with a resident who remembers 15 years ago, there was one attendant at the transfer site and hardly any delays. With the town growing at a rapid pace, we need to think about the future and how this will be 15 years from now.
Did either the town administrator or financial director have anything they wanted to add to Brad before we start any discussion or questioning with the board? No? No? Yeah.
Brad, I think in the transition there with the microphones, I missed a few things. No, give that back to him. He's the one that has to talk and answer the questions. I think I missed a couple of points on option 2 that I need to write back down. You said, if I'm right, option 1 is basically we buy new compactors and it keeps going like it is, but with more safety protocols. Option 2, we would have open top dumpsters in lieu of the compactors, and it would be open to residents for garbage drop off. Was it still like the same thing Saturdays and Sundays, or did you say just Sundays for garbage drop off?
That could be adjusted at this time. We're thinking just Sundays from 10 to 2.
Okay.
This would be for the residents that don't want to participate.
All right, and then would we have a different tag then that would indicate we weren't participating, or just any resident could have a tag and take it there even if they, how would you know otherwise if somebody's participating in curbside pickup versus somebody who didn't want curbside pickup?
There'd be a separate tag issue to those.
Separate tag, okay. And that would be just valid on Sundays for garbage only? Well, at least that's the initial proposal, subject to potential expansion.
Yes.
I can see summertime needing more than just Sundays. Okay, and the cost on that was about $124,000, plus we probably still have to consider the fence based upon the recommendation of the insurance guy related to keeping particularly children and minors away from the nuisance, the attractive nuisance, as he called it in his letter.
Correct.
And in option 3, no garbage, just brush and grass.
Correct.
Okay, and in both options, well, probably option 1, 2, and 3, the traffic flow would get redesigned, so it would be single file going in with controls at the gate to make sure that there's not 10 cars waiting in line to drop off recycling or garbage and so on and so forth.
Yes, the biggest thing to come out of that after the meeting today is we need to eliminate the potential for 3 cars wide and more, where people get boxed in, they can't get out, tempers flare up a little bit. We need to keep it at a much easier flow to avoid someone possibly getting hit.
And I know you said for us to not necessarily focus in on money per se, but this year, how much was budgeted for operation of the transfer side?
For 2024?
2024. I know you gave us a spreadsheet, but I don't have my magnifying glass with me.
$327,000.
So option number 2 there would be some cost savings on there. Okay, thank you, those are my questions.
If I could just piggyback on the one that Supervisor Minter asked about, Brad, on the, maybe this was for both of them, you said for options 2 and 3, you said there'd still be brush collections on Wednesdays from 2 to 7? Did I understand that correctly?
Yes, 2 to 7. That'll help for the people that come home from work afternoons, evenings, that'll be their chance to bring brush, other than on the weekends.
And that, so that would be good for options 2 and 3.
Yes.
All right, so then, back to what Supervisor Minter said, then for 24, adding on the 124 plus the fence cost yet, does that also include the additional staff, or don't you need any additional staff for that option?
At this time, we won't need any additional staff. I guess it'll depend on how many hours we have to be open. It'll depend on the needs at that time. Once we know what numbers of how many people will be using it, we might have to adjust.
Okay.
That's based off our current staff.
And if I understand correctly, option 1 would be a drive-up with a staff member present at the machine. So there could be a wait of 3 to 4 minutes, and you might need 1 to 2 additional staff members. So the $86,185.92 per compactor, how many more were you proposing?
That was to purchase 2 compactors and 3 receivers.
So you said 460,000 would have to then be added to the 327.
No,
Oh, no, that would be total.
yeah, 327 is 2024, this would be at 2025.
Got it. Okay, thank you. And then the last one, what was the 155,000 and some odd cents?
That would be a savings if we wanted to eliminate the open top construction dumpsters. Those are based off of our 2023 numbers of how many tons of material were hauled out in those open top dumpsters and our hauling fees for those.
Okay.
Note too, all these numbers are based off of 2023
Oh, they're 2023
because
numbers.
we don't have a completed 2024.
24 yet, sure. Okay.
I just have one question. What about businesses that are already going there and using it? Will that still be available to them?
Businesses need a contractor permit for a green garbage.
Right.
So yes, under option 1, that would be still available.
So if you went any other options, they'd have to go someplace else?
We can discuss that if you want to be allowed to come in those Sundays from 10 to 2, if they have their contractor, business permit.
Okay, thank you.
So regarding that, open top containers for the construction waste, do the businesses that drop off construction waste, do they pay additional fees in order to be able to drop off their construction waste?
They have to get a separate permit.
Separate permit. And that counts in the revenue that is offsetting the expenses of the transfer station, a little bit, to some extent.
Yes.
Okay. And so then if we prefer to pursue option 2, that 124, if we want the construction waste containers as well, that would add potentially 150,000 to that cost.
Yes.
Got it. And same thing, option 3. Did you mention the cost for option 3?
At this time, we're looking at roughly about 30,000.
Okay.
Like I said, this is based off of numbers in hours. If you want to go longer than Saturdays from 10 to 2, we go
Right.
longer.
Well, understandable, but we're just working with comparing the numbers that we have right now.
Yeah.
So option 3 would be around that 35,000. This one, maybe it died.
No, you're good.
Okay. All right, try again. If I won't move, maybe it'll let me go. So option 3 would then, be just the cost of being open for the weeds and brush and grass. And then if we chose to have the open tops for the construction waste, that would be potentially an option for that as well. Although, would you say don't have open tops if we're only open for brush, grass, and weeds?
My suggestion would be to eliminate the open top.
Okay.
So there'd be no garbage drop off, it'd just be, everything would be curbside, and then we'd be open just for the brush, grass.
Okay, thank you.
I just want to say thank you to all the people that contacted me since the agenda hit the website with no information from the packet. I think I responded to 30 different people that I didn't know any more than you did. And this is the first time we're hearing this information this evening. So we're still in the process of figuring out exactly what we want to do or need to do. I agree with most of who everybody wrote me. It's a good transfer site. People have enjoyed it over the years, but now we're looking at major safety concerns. And so I think we have to consider what they're proposing. I wanted to turn now to my right and see if Supervisor Gabriel or Cole have anything they want to ask or discuss with the staff.
Yeah, I'm trying to, it would have been nice to have these numbers ahead of time, so I think we're all just trying to calculate them in our heads. And I'd like to think that, guessing most people in the room would like option one, keep the transfer site open, keep the compactors, even if it means reduced hours, etc. So I'm focused on that option first. But primary to me, and it's our primary responsibility as board members to provide safety to the residents. So we have to look at that, number one. So that means a perimeter fence, which we don't have a price for, but that's a cost. And then, am I right, it would be over what we had budgeted this year, $133,000 additional plus the fence, if I took the 460 minus 327? Or I'm trying to come up with a number.
No, the 327 was 2024.
2024.
We're looking ahead to
So
2020.
what would be the number to get the two compactors, get the personnel we need, and we don't know the fence? Is it, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do we know that number?
It's at 460,000.
Okay, so that's 460, and we budgeted what? So 327.
No,
That was last year.
we haven't done the budget, that's why we
I'm trying
can't.
to figure out how much more money the board with budgeting or other fundraising methods needs to come up with to make number one work. Is it feasible? Is it possible? And what that number is. 133,000. Okay, so then I have another question. It seems, I don't use the transfer site, so don't get me wrong, I'm going by what people tell me. That there are people using it that shouldn't be, that are coming from other areas, jurisdictions, so we need to cut that out. Okay, there's a little house there, you have to stamp that. So we get rid of those people. And we're only charging extra for televisions, is that correct? What do we charge extra for?
No, we don't take televisions at all.
We don't take it at all. So is it possible for items other than regular household trash and brush? I'm talking about people that bring in patio sets to dump scrap metal, all kinds of bigger things that we could charge a fee for that.
Maybe by tonnage?
By tonnage, by, I don't know.
Because I know, don't we charge for sofas, furniture, large
So
pieces?
I guess I'm just saying, is that an option to raise revenue that way? Because, I mean, to me, I can see the towns providing you your rubbish and your brush, but I don't think the town is obligated to provide you a place to take your sofa, your chair, your old, that kind of stuff. So to me, it would be worth it to pay a fee for the transfer site to take that, because I don't know what else I would do with it. So I'd be happy to do that. So that's one thing I'm asking, and I don't know how much of that stuff comes in, that, I know you can't answer this, that how much money might it raise to help offset some of this money.
I'm curious too, because I know, I paid for mattresses, I paid for a large sofa.
Yes, we currently do charge for mattresses, sofas, chairs, appliances. Those are fee items.
Okay,
Light bulbs, those are all fee items.
okay.
Do you charge for batteries too?
No,
No, those we don't charge, or the oil, no?
no.
So are there other things, I mean, I'm not trying to charge people money, but are there other things that could be fee items that are outside of everyday trash and brush?
Everything else that comes in those open top dumpsters is mostly, I'll call it construction waste, from remodel projects, people are doing in their houses, like you said, maybe an old deck set, patio set,
Okay.
things that don't fit into our compacting units.
So we could charge people for that? I mean, maybe a contractor wouldn't like it, but they gotta get rid of that stuff someplace.
They're already,
They're in charge. So you know what I'm getting at. I'm trying to come up with ways to keep this open to maybe recoup some of the funds.
I will just, if I can add it,
Yeah.
I'm in agreement, yes, if you want to try to figure out ways to collect more money. But you're also then going to delay the process of getting residents in and out of the facility timely.
Okay.
Is there a way to change the entrance pull in, garbage only, this driveway, this entrance, recycle only? Is there a way to direct them into the area that they belong in?
We're looking at it, I just want the board to be aware, there's a reason the compactors that are currently out there, if you look at them closely, the safety equipment was cut off of them. The reason it was cut off of them, which was prior to me starting work here, so 25 years ago or whenever, is because the safety devices on these compactors is what takes the time. And even if we replace 2 compactors with brand new ones, your time is going to increase greatly, because as soon as you violate one of the safety devices, it resets and sends the compactor back to the safety zone and then restarts again. And you can't bypass those. That's the problem with the 2 units we have now, is the safety devices have all been bypassed. So likely you would need more than 2 compactors to make this work. And we've also been told that through state regulations, you need an employee to be standing within 3 feet of that compactor at all times. So if you're running 2 of them, Brad's estimate was conservative. You're going to need 2 employees just to operate the compactors. Citizens are not allowed to touch any of the electronics on any of the compactors, cycle them, or do anything other than dump their garbage in at the greatest. And our insurance company recommends they don't even dump the garbage in.
Could you humor this idea? I'm just kind of brainstorming, maybe we don't have time for this, that not everybody can come on every day. So if you're, this might be complicated, if you're, go by address or name, that you more or less have a day or time based on, I'm letter K, I can come on these certain days, so just something like that to break it down. I know it might be inconvenient for people, and I see someone shaking their head and laughing, but just bear with me. I'm trying to find ways to help you keep the transfer site open. And there might be some inconvenience because now that the safety factor has been exposed and the insurance is aware of it, we won't get insurance. And if you do happen to climb on those steps or go and not hurt yourself or child was in there, it's a huge problem. So gotta come up with something.
I think the brainstorming is a good effort, and I'd like to have, I'm sorry. Every supervisor a chance. This way. All right, sorry. What I was saying is that timing is really an issue right now due to the insurance matter. I mean, they're going to be closed this weekend, so we have to come up with a solution. So I think this is all part of the process of understanding the different options we have available and getting more information now that we know that this is definitely a major insurance concern, a safety concern, which is the biggest problem. And I think then we could brainstorm. I think we need to really make a decision based on what's been presented to us tonight. I don't know that Brad has everything we would need to come up with one of these options tonight, but I mean, if somebody thinks that one of these will work right now, I would like to see it stay open too, but I think he's given us everything he possibly can. Primary focus again is the safety. And we should make some sort of decision for them tonight so they know which direction to take.
And I do want to hear from the residents that are here too, but myself personally, I'm in favor of us pursuing option number 2. Option number 2 will allow the transfer station to stay open. It'll have open top dumpsters for the garbage instead of the compactors. And I think fiscally, option 2 is better than option 1. That's my personal opinion. I'd be so glad when these new microphones arrive. That's just my personal opinion, but I know we want to hear from the residents that are here as well, but I turn that back to the chairwoman to decide if we're at that point.
Well, I want to give Supervisor Gabriel a chance yet to ask his questions of staff, or if there's anything they haven't covered we haven't asked yet.
Refresh me again, because this was brought to all of us as soon as you guys saw it out there on Facebook too. It's not like this board decided to shove this down your throat or anything. So let's clear the air in there, okay? I found out about this at the same time all of you guys found out about this, that this was an agenda item. It's something we have to deal with now. Okay, refresh my memory on 2. I thought that it was just the open top, you're gonna use open top dumpsters for garbage too? Everything would be open top dumpsters?
Yes, we would not purchase the new compactors. They'd just be open top, because the hope would be that this would just be for the residents that don't want to choose the curbside pickup.
Well, currently residents can already choose curbside pickup. If you don't get all of the residents to do this, currently a resident can hire privately for curbside pickup. If we don't force this on all 4,000 property owners, the cost that we were given will increase for those people that want curbside pickup. Am I not mistaken? The reason we're trying to get a cut rate deal on it is because they'd be able to do every home, anticipating half the homes won't have garbage cans out, so the company can cruise through the route. Now, if only 300 or 400 people choose curbside pickup, the price still is gonna be 21 to 25, whatever numbers were shot out a month. Am I mistaken on that?
You're correct, yes. The cost of, the person I talked to does not want their name given out, obviously, and the amount, because if they are gonna be bidding this, they don't want people to know their numbers. And I respect that, it's a common bidding process. So they said $18, $20 if we do the once a week for the trash and every other week for recycle. That's based off of the 3,600 residents. I did call and ask them, what would that be for, say, 2,500 residents, 1,500 residents? He said probably roughly a $2 increase. So if the town wanted to offer that, we'd have to get a number of how many people are interested in signing up to get a number locked in.
Let me just get this one out, and then I'll go back to you, Laura. So if we're gonna slow down the time that these compactors go, we're looking at, say, whatever, about 108, you said 85,000 for compactors and 3 dumpsters to put the garbage in behind them. What about if we made 3 lines, got 3 compactors and 5, and solved this problem for the next 15 to 20 years? And then cars get in line at each one, and we're running 3 compactors constantly. And in the notes, I also thought there was an area that they could program these things or add an infrared light that after so many cycles of the door, the compactor would run itself. So then wouldn't and I agree, somebody may still need to be out there, we're not talking 3 employees, now we're talking 1 employee, that once that compactor starts its cycle, for him to yell at the cars, hold on, don't go. The issue, one more thought, Lori, then I'll go back to you. The issue I have with the curbside pickup, and I think a lot of these people out here are gonna express the same thing when they get their minute to talk. By golly, by God, I don't want to see 2,000 garbage cans sitting on my street when I leave, when I go to work on Monday morning. That is my biggest issue. We all know what happens here in the fall. We see the Christmas trees that the Rome snow bandits used to put up. They were anchored in the ground, and those things would blow over with the November winds. Once these garbage cans blow over out on the street, and they're not going to pick us up on Sunday, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. How are these cans getting back up to the house? And how is we keeping rodents, all these other animals from getting into these garbage cans is my biggest concern. I mean, I grew up with curbside pickup. I don't dislike it, but in this area here where not everybody is a full-time resident that live in their home, how does it work, I guess, is my question. I mean, the contractor that we hire is definitely not gonna take them from your garage down to the street, dump them, and return them back up your driveway. We all know that. So what happens? And I don't want this town to become littered with garbage on the street that I have to pick up because my neighbors are not coming back for 2 weeks and they put their cans down on a Sunday. It blew over. I'm the only full-time resident on my street. Now I'm responsible for everybody's garbage on my street.
You made your point. Public Works Director or the administrator to help us understand some of that, because some of the concerns I received were the trash receptacles left out. until they return. Again, we don't have all of these things figured out because this was so whatever with the insurance renewal and everything, so it's very timely, and animals getting into those bins. Have they given you any idea on what people could anticipate or how that would work, or the timing? And with option 2, you have the option of either going with still using the transfer site or having private pickup, is that correct?
Yes, with option 2.
Option 2, you have your choice. So my question then would piggyback what was said earlier is, if number 2 is the one we would happen to pick, you could still come to the transfer site and I could get pickup. You could still go to the transfer site and they might get pickup. It's a choice. So a person has a choice, correct?
Yes.
All right.
If I can back up just a couple minutes to a comment that Supervisor Gabriel made about those doors and the sensors. The salesman said they can install those. After talking with the insurance guy today, he says someone needs to be at the door operating it when it needs to run.
So that means we need a staff member at each one of them. Every one that we would buy for $86,185.92 would have to be staffed to run that, because there'd be no more button, I would take it, in the shack.
No, there cannot be a button in the shed. You need to be operating within 3 feet of the compact.
How many staff are there? Oh, that's for 2? I thought it was a piece. Oh, okay.
I think everybody's been at our transfer site, so to answer some of those questions, if you look at it now, those compactors are running constantly. You're throwing your garbage on top of the RAM as it's cycling. So the auto feature that they're talking about, they've used at some slower towns where you got 100 people maybe over the whole day coming through there, and it's programmed to cycle every 5 minutes, so by the time the next car gets there and opens the door, you're fresh. We're gonna have lines there, so if we set it to auto cycle, it's not gonna be full, and all of a sudden the 5-minute counter's gonna come, and it'll start auto cycling, and you're gonna have to wait longer.
There was a question too, I think I read something in here about traffic, or isn't a question, or somebody said something about traffic flow, or maybe Supervisor Cole did. Is that part of your, excuse me, is that part of the staff plan too then, to redo the traffic flow of the transfer site when these things would be placed, or
Yes.
however you would set that up? Are you planning a new layout?
We have to neck it down to at least 2, possibly even 1 lane under recommendation from the risk manager. They said that came to say at 1:30. The discussion will have to be made with them as to exactly how they should lay out, but yes, something will have to change.
All right, so we'll be planning different traffic flows, different entrances, having somebody staff to guard the entrance.
The entrance spot will still be the same coming off of, yeah.
Roman way, okay.
Going out down the road, waiting, there'll be no passing, be sitting and waiting.
Okay. So does the board have any more discussion or question or staff?
I have one more comment. Since we just heard about this, and you all just heard about this, is it possible to table this today? Can you operate in any way, shape, or form if we were to kind of set this aside, give us time to analyze all this, put the numbers together, and then bring it up at the next board meeting? Or if we even had to hold a special meeting, which I hate to do, but, because I don't feel that comfortable making a decision without all the numbers and information that I would need to make some type of intelligent decision. And if it's an emergency and we have to shut it down, is that what we're talking about? I don't know.
From a safety standpoint, as Brad said, we're gonna be using open top dumpsters and not compactors, so that's greatly going to increase the amount of loads that are being hauled at the $210 per trip load temporarily. We do have to financially have a decision what we're going to do by November 1st. So there's not much time left in putting budgets together to decide. Certainly, if you're gonna order compactors, I would think that you wanna get them ordered as soon as possible so they can be installed and operational.
But I mean, I'm talking 2.5 weeks, not.
I appreciate your offer, but we have trouble getting together for, we have trouble meeting for, and I think it is an urgency between the letters we've gotten and what we've been told. I think we do have have to give them some direction tonight on when to go forward. I happen to agree with Supervisor Minter that may be option 2, but if we're done discussing, we can allow people to have a comment. We'll allow commenting for only so long because we do have a long, lengthy agenda. Again, this is a town board meeting, not a public hearing, so hopefully we can all respect that. And I appreciate your option, but it's hard enough to get us together the meetings we have now. And I think it's important we let them have their say and understand. If you hear the same comment over and over, then maybe you could just restrain or just say, I'm representing a group from my neighborhood, because we do want to hear from you. Again, I got a lot of these in emails already. Thank you for emailing me. And yes. Oh, you're gonna walk around?
I'll walk around, but you speaking of my.
This lady right here had her hand up first, please. No, this lady
This
had,
lady, and then,
this lady right here. Just
Keep it
me down,
close
I
to
don't
your
know
mouth.
your name.
Do you want me to name?
Yes, please.
My name is Christy Oplanoff. I live at 1350 Eagle Trail in Rome. I've been here 4 years. ABPLAALP. We've been here 4 years. I'm like Supervisor Gabriel, came from a pickup, and it was a nightmare. I raised that way. And my question is, why are we doing, I mean, everybody here would say we need new compactors. I don't think there's a person in that they are a safety issue and they just, you know, but it's like, is the town wanting to move away from refuse recycling responsibilities and costs, which is what I'm hearing, and or doing the due diligence, which you need to do if you have to make a capital expenditure, which is to look at other options, which makes perfect sense, you know. You don't just keep going the same old way. But and only using the information that was in the packet is all that I could base this on. And I did look at the budgets, and I'm finding different numbers than we were told. But like you said, it all just came at us so fast. In either case,
1 minute is up already.
Oh.
1 minute is up. But thank you.
They said their minutes.
Yeah. You can have our minutes.
It's not your turn yet.
I know, let's wait here till it's my turn.
Let her speak.
Let her speak.
Can I just finish, please?
Go ahead, sure.
Thank you. In either case, the impact this change may have is not all, most of your constituents, it's going to impact them substantially. Not necessarily from a financial aspect, but lifestyle. This needs to be reviewed by a committee made up of a board member or members, public works personnel, the town of Rome residents at a minimum. And I know it's an urgent, but it sounds like they have a temporary solution with the open canisters. So, and let's see, there are several issues and questions that we need to be examined, and this is not the time or place for this, which is why a committee needs to be, even if it's just a, what do you call them, ad hoc committee, just get it together, and it, you know, I'm sure everyone here would participate as often every day of the week if that's what it takes to work with you. But this is way beyond money, and like I said, my husband and I are both accountants and working with the budget numbers, but we only had the ones that were in the packet, and we didn't know about the fence. It's not a losing venture. You know, the transfer station doesn't lose money. At least according to the budgets, when we're looking at the 22 and 23. I don't understand.
Your time is up though, now we try to
Okay.
move
I don't
on.
understand though why the user fees are going down. Maybe we need to look to increase those.
Carl Haskell, 241 Penner's Way, and I'm amazed that this board didn't ask them. Okay, you're talking $456,000 for budget next year, right? And is that mostly taxpayer funds? What is the cost of a pickup for all the taxpayers now? At $25 a service, 3,156 pickups. What's the cost?
Excuse me, could you please not be so abrupt with our employee? Could you?
I'm asking a question.
Don't, please.
Please answer. What is the cost to the taxpayers under service with full service on option 3? What is coming out of our pockets for option 3? Give me a total number. You want the number? No.
Everybody's tax.
Everybody here. You're talking, folks, you're paying $450-something now. It's gonna go up to about $1 million. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. That is the cost that you would charge us if you collect the tax on it.
Wow.
Simple math. Simple. I'm adding in also.
I don't need a microphone, I don't know if I'm told I'm so damn loud, I should stop talking most. My name is Lisa LaRock Williams. I am considered a part-time resident, I've been here plenty of times, and most of you know me.
Ma'am, I need your address, please.
1186 Fairway Trail. Thank you. I'm starting my stopwatch. Handing it to this nice gentleman.
This is a town board meeting. We respect
Correct,
all
ma'am.
of you. We want all of you to be here to talk to us, but this is our meeting to make a difficult decision that often leaders have to make based on what our staff is providing us.
Yeah, I appreciate you not
Please just
interrupting
be
me during my
respectful.
time. It's my time, so don't interrupt me. First of all, it is unlawful to change the time of public comments on a whim because they don't want to hear every word you have to say. Sir, who runs the administrator and the police chief, I'm sure your job is beyond 2 salaried positions, 24/7. But you don't own the gavel. Madam Chairperson,
Could you please
you own the
speak to the
gavel.
item? Can you please speak to the item on the agenda?
I'm going to, but I'm asking you to start behaving lawfully.
Do you
That's
have
what I'm
a
asking for.
I
I do.
have agenda item.
I do.
Do you have a comment regarding the agenda item?
I do. Are you done interrupting me?
Please speak your comment.
Are you done?
You're gonna.
I'm not. I have 3 minutes, madam.
No, you don't. That's not.
I don't agree with the transfer site. And if our equipment is so old and has been unsafe and deemed by our insurance company, Mr. Public Works, I don't know your name. I don't know how long you work for the town. But my question is, why is it we're just hearing that the insurance company is telling us these needs to be changed by November 1st? Where have you been? You're a paid employee by all of these people in the room. Where have you been? I don't agree, and it would be unlawful. I don't care. I haven't hit 3 minutes yet, madam. It is unlawful to change your policy when you don't want to use it.
You need to be removed. We can have you redo it if you prefer.
I'm done.
Your show is
You can't
over.
just change your
All right.
policy.
Show is over. Please sit down.
All right,
You should have the gavel in your hand.
All right. My plan is for those that wish to speak, we've been here in the first row, I'll finish off the first row, then we'll go to the second row, third row, fourth row, so on and so forth, and then I'll come around the sides, if that's okay. I'm just trying to keep it so that I don't forget anybody. Okay, so we'll continue on in the first row.
My name is E-U-E-R. Oh, my name is Peggy Heyer. H-E-U-E-R is the last name. And I live at 348 Huntington Court. My question is, why would you even think about limiting the amount of time that people are going to go to the transfer site for like 4 hours? That's ridiculous. And you say that it's growing, 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 and now you're gonna limit, just so it doesn't work and fails.
If you remember, like I said, that can be adjusted once we know how many people are going to be using the transfer site.
If I could just a minute though, Supervisor Minter, if you would, in respect to a comment that was made up here at the podium, didn't you say, or wasn't there a comment made earlier in something we read here, that the time with option 2 or 3, with option 2 or 3, they would still have time to take the brush there, they'd still have time for the open, there'd still be hours for all of the same that they currently have today. But those that could choose, that want curbside can. But you'd have limited time for brush, you'd still have time for open on Sunday, possibly a Saturday. We haven't decided that yet. Is that correct?
Correct, we don't know how many people will be using it.
Right, and do we currently know right now how many by chance, do we know, I wouldn't expect you to, how many people currently have curbside pickup? But we do see the Harder's truck go through quite a few times, don't we, different neighborhoods. Okay, my other question, as far as these being old and not working properly and getting the warning from our insurance company, most people do react when your insurance person tells you to take care of a matter that may cost you more. Is that not what we're doing, is we're reacting to something that is a timely due to the fact that we have liability? Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So there's something that we do have to decide about this tonight. We'll hear from the people more, but there's something we do still have to decide tonight. And again, I understand, I like the transfer site as much as the next person, but I think you can all agree the lines are getting longer.
No.
All right, fine, go ahead.
No. Okay, Donna Hasbro, 241 Penhurst. My first question to Brad is, we're spending and taking loans out for millions of dollars to repair our roads. If you go to all curbside pickup, what is this going to do to the roads, especially the edges? I mean, like Wisconsin Rapids, they have curbs everywhere. That helps save the side of the roads. But we're spending all this money on roads, and now we're going to drive 50,000-pound trucks on them, on the edges, to pick up these garbage cans? Was there any thought of what this will do to the roads?
Yes, there was, but also the thought of, like the insurance guy said, the liability from the town. Right now, if something happens to someone out there, the town.
So it's all about liability, not servicing.
Liability plays a big part. When the insurance guy says, his recommendation, remember like I said, is to close it, right now. It kind of makes you think a little bit.
And we just got that call, don't we? Didn't know all along that we had issues there.
No, we met with the insurance guy today at 9 o'clock. He sent over a summary at 1:30.
Okay, so really no answer on what it's going to do to the roads. Have we ever had an accident or anything there? I've been here 30 years. Are we aware of any accident? And then I also say, I've been going to the dump for almost 30 years. I have never seen any kind of what you would call dump rage. In fact, usually people are very friendly. And we're going to be expected, if you go with option 3, 95-gallon cans out to the end of our driveway. That's going to be great in the winter when I don't even know when my road's going to get plowed. Then after I take it out there, now I'm going to have to dig it out of the snow because I put it out there and it snowed and they plowed afterwards. I mean, this is the middle of Wisconsin. There's wind and there is snow. I mean, these just don't make sense here.
There has been injuries at the transfer site. I believe somebody was cut by glass out there. There's been several.
Oh, my goodness.
There's also been people that have fallen down the stairs. There's been fires out there. And I guess I'll state for the record, we're not the only lake and tourist area in the state of Wisconsin. We called the town of Minocqua. The town of Minocqua is not have a transfer site, nor do they provide curbside pickup. Everyone's on their own, so.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion that we table this item until the next regularly scheduled board meeting, and ask our.
It's going to be the same thing.
Right, but this is turning into a public hearing, and that is not what this is intended to be.
But it's going to be another public,
Well, we can.
yes, schedule a public meeting then.
So do you actually really think you're going to accomplish everything by everyone getting up and giving their own personal issue?
We all need answers to a lot of
But we
things.
don't have any answers.
Well, then that's why we're asking the questions, so somebody can get the answers for the next meeting.
What if there was a?
Or have a
option-
committee.
Excuse me, what if there was an option on the town website for you to enter your questions so that they could be reviewed and intelligently answered?
No.
Yeah, thank you.
No.
Thank you.
Well, I'm still making a motion.
We voting tonight.
Excuse
You are
me.
the residents here.
You are.
We vote you in. You are paid by us. So it's time for you to listen to us.
Yeah.
And what we're saying, we understand all the information is not here. We understand that. That's why it has to be all opened up, out in the open, so that everybody's comments are out there, and then your comments are in there, the money, what is, what it costs, the whole bit. So all the information has to be out before a decision is made. So if you put it to a table,
Excuse me.
then, no. Then that means that it's gonna happen again next time.
May I respond? You just said you want all of the information. You want it out in the open. You want everything so that a decision can be made.
Right.
But yet, you don't have all that information, so we're just gonna let everybody in this room talk about how they don't want the garbage in the street. They don't want their roads damaged. They don't wanna drag it down there in the snow. We understand all of that. But we don't have all the numbers, all the information. We don't have anything to really answer your questions. So I don't know is there any question that's gonna be different than all the other questions here?
Why are we
I mean,
here?
Why
somebody
it's not a public hearing.
Wait a second, wait.
That's what I'm saying.
Demanding a decision tonight.
And that's why I'm proposing we table it.
But the
Somebody better second it and then get us.
So that's my motion.
It's not your turn, you don't have the microphone, or
So-
I will have you removed. You understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, I made
Allow the
a,
supervisor to
excuse me,
speak.
if we are following Robert's rules
Can I
of
ask a
order.
question? Second a motion to table it.
I have made a motion.
Second a motion.
No, you can't. It's
I thought
not,
you just did.
it's not a public hearing.
It's our meeting.
It's a board, it's a town board meeting. You can't second a vote.
Huh? Can I ask my question?
Sure.
Okay. Julie Casper, 101 14th Avenue. Okay. Let me just ask my question over here. We are talking about right now that the garbage would be in the open containers, right? Open containers right now. Right?
Yes.
Are they open from the back, or are we gonna be throwing them over?
It'll be going up the stairs to the ones that have the doors on it. We can put the garbage in that.
Okay, now, what about the recycling?
Recycling is the same as it's been in the past.
Put it up the stairs. Okay, so now, when we're talking about, this is my personal thing, because this happened to me when I moved out here 10 years ago. When we are talking about pickup, but then you have to find your own way, you need a garbage, a mattress or a refrigerator or whatever. You know where that stuff's gonna go? In the woods. That's where the stuff was when I moved right across the street.
Who wants to second Jackie's motion?
Yeah, so let me just explain. It's a town board meeting. I've made a motion, so now the chair is calling for a second, and that can only be made by another board member. So do we have a second to a motion to table this to the next regularly scheduled board meeting, the first Thursday in October?
Do not make any decisions tonight. No decisions tonight. No second?
Just with regards, since we didn't have a second to Supervisor Cole's motion, the motion does die. That leads me to a question. I'm not forcing a decision. What I'm realizing is that we have to decide something to carry us through until we can make another decision on the overall operation of the transfer site.
I believe that we've discussed, that Brad has discussed the open dumpsters in lieu of the compactors, and that'll carry us through until we decide on the final plan, is that correct?
That's correct, that's what we're doing now.
Does somebody want to make that motion?
I don't think we need to make a motion on that.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, well, I move that we authorize the Department of Public Works to install the open-top dumpsters in lieu of the compactors that are deemed unsafe until such time as the final plan worked out.
I'll second.
That's a different set of dumpsters.
We have a motion by Supervisor Minter, seconded by Supervisor Cole. It is now at board discussion. Brad, I saw you, did you want to add something to Supervisor Minter's motion or a comment about what would need to be included?
No, I was just gonna say, we are directed right now through insurance company to shut those compactors down. So yes, we can't use those anymore.
Okay.
And that's because of the safety?
So his Supervisor Minter's motion then is to do what you need to do to make up for the fact we no longer have compactors. And Supervisor Cole second that. And you have a plan in place to do what you need to do until we can bring forward more information to discuss further.
Correct.
Okay. Any more board discussion? Again, please, we know, and Supervisor Cole already said that we know people want the transfer site open, but we, as responsible leaders, have to make a decision this evening based on their recommendations. Did you want anybody, is staff wanting to add anything?
Again, comments would be unless you're going to go with the option to not continue operation of the site, we should get at least one of the compactors coming, because the two options left on the table are either all compactors or a mix of compactors and curbside pickup. The sooner we get compactors, the less lugging charges we're going to have from our vendors, so.
No, I would disagree. The option number 2 had no compactors in open-top dumpsters. So option number 1 was compactors only. Option number 2 is no compactors, open-top, and curbside for those residents that desire it. And then option 3 was no garbage.
So I think,
Keep in mind, these options are flexible. Now, with option 2, you said you wanted to add the compactors, and we could add that at the end.
But we're back to option 1.
But it might be open less often. Because option 2 gives people options for curbside.
it sounds like option 1, based on what the Public Works Director Brad is saying, that option 1 will give us more flexibility for a
Except we're off the topic of the motion, which is authorizing the Public Works Director to close the compactors and install open-top dumpsters in a temporary fashion. So let's call the question on my motion, please.
Okay, we'll call the question on Supervisor Minter's motion, second by Supervisor Cole. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, so that tides us over until decisions can be made. I don't mean to step on your toes, Madam Chair, but I'm going to step on your toes just a little bit. I know I see several hands up, but what I would like to know from the audience that's out there, just by show of hands, how many of you want the town board to pursue an option that keeps some version of garbage collection available, garbage and recycling collection available at the transfer station going forward? Raise your hands. Okay, all right, thank you. Is there anybody that Is there anybody that would be horribly against not having trash compactors out there? Okay, maybe one or two people maybe.
Well, I don't know why we don't need to sign a waiver so that the town's not responsible.
I'll let the attorney speak to that because my learning as a school administrator is those waivers aren't worth the paper they're printed on.
I would also say that it's going to depend on what the It's going to depend on what the insurance company is even going to be comfortable with. It's most likely that it's not going to carry any water doing a waiver like that.
So the insurance company is coming to us with these recommendations because the Department of Safety and Professional Services, DSPS in the state of Wisconsin, requires the safety devices beyond those compactors. Our insurance safety representative told us if DSPS receives a complaint, that's and shut it down because it doesn't meet the current safety requirements.
All right, Supervisor Minter, we're done on this, we finished. We had a motion. No, because then everybody else wants us to do the same thing, I'm sorry.
This is Lord Mines. I worked at a thousand house dairy operation over in Vernon County. And DPS was out at the thousand house dairy operation and everything. What happened was there was 4 bosses out there and everything. When someone got hurt or something, and ocean everything, what happened was something got brought up about safety issues. I was the maintenance person out there. What happened was when there were safety issues got brought up and we had OSHA, DPS, and everybody out there, an insurance person came up to us and said, this is not safe. The farm person told her, take a hike. They got different insurance people out onto the farm and got a different insurance person. We fixed what they needed to be done because we had just outside the farm, we had 2 manure pits.
Well, thank you for your comments, but we're beyond the comment section and then we'll ask.
Now we're beyond the comment section.
You're beyond the comments, please, I appreciate it.
What I'm saying is, long as the insurance companies.
No more comment.
We've already.
I'm leaving, so.
I hope I'm about to make, wait, don't leave just yet, listen to my motion that I'm about to make, okay? No, I want another motion now, pass that motion. Yes, I'm gonna make a motion right now.
That we did, what about insurance? You were starting to make a comment about when he said about kicking other insurance, he said, we've already.
No, I did not say that.
Okay,
No.
okay. All right, I move that the Town of Rome Board direct town staff to pursue getting firm pricing or firm cost estimates for option number 2, which is to keep the transfer station in use with open top dumpsters using the current hours that the transfer station is open on an annual basis.
We have already had a motion and a second on this item. Can we have?
We had a motion in session on the temporary fix until we make a permanent plan.
I know you're getting it.
You can have more than one motion on an item.
All right, thank you.
So if you dispense of one motion, you can have another motion introduced, then
All right, okay. Wanted to make sure that that didn't do anything with the.
I'll second it for discussion. Can you just kind of repeat what exactly is it that you're asking?
Certainly. What I'm asking is that we direct the town staff to pursue firm cost estimates for 2025 on option 2 with the idea of keeping the transfer station open in the hours that it is currently open on weekends and Mondays and Wednesdays, depending upon the season. Using no compactors, open top dumpsters. And then, yeah, I'll leave it at that for right now.
Yeah, but if you want me to remember all of that, you're out. All right, do we have a second? Yes, we're gonna have the clerk, Madam Clerk, repeat the motion and the second for us.
The motion by Supervisor Minter, second by Supervisor Cole, is to direct the town staff to obtain the cost estimates for option 2 with the current hours that the transfer site is open with no compactors.
Thank you. Briefly.
I like your idea. I do like your idea, Supervisor Minter. The only problem I see in the long run is our fees are gonna go up because we're gonna have a lot more poles out of the dump. So if we're gonna go that route, then I guess I almost feel like we should invest in the compactors, because if we're filling these dumpsters, no clapping, no sound, let the board talk, please. If we go that route, I think over the course of the next 3 to 5 years, we're gonna send up our transfer site bill higher than it needs to be. If we are going to these open dumpsters for the time being, Brad, isn't it possible that once we close at night, that the guys can take one of those big front end loaders and push this crap down in these things and compact it down? That's, you know, that we could get more garbage in there before that pole goes out the next day. I mean, I've seen on TikTok, they come into dumpsters with this thing and they smash it down so contractors can fill it again. I would strongly recommend pushing this stuff down in these dumpsters to buy us these couple of weeks or whatever we need till this board comes to a decision to tell you what to do. I understand you're looking to us for guidance, we're looking to you for guidance, and we're all at a standstill right now. I do understand that if we go with just open dumpsters over the course of 25, 26, 27, 28, we're hauling a lot of air out of these things. And the trucking fee is gonna kill us. The tonnage fee won't be as bad per dumpster, but we're still paying the same trucking fee to get these to the landfill.
Dan, can you also maybe amend it that we have the pricing with the compactors, but with all the hours staying the same? Instead of just the 1 day a week or whatever he was having. But that's already, that was only 1 day.
Yeah.
I wanted to do option 2.
Oh, okay.
Brad, did you want to comment? It looked like you wanted to add a comment, or?
So what you're proposing is to have the current hours, buy no compactors, and use the open tops.
Yes.
And then we have to get back to the question of, do we want to solicit bids for those residents that would want to apply for curbside? We haven't gotten to that question yet. But I don't know necessarily that we need to do that one. I think first we need to find out what's the cost of keeping the transfer station open, because that seems to be the wishes of the people that are gathered here tonight.
The only thing I say, if you're thinking from long-term future, we can't run with just open tops. We're gonna have to buy the compactors, which pushes back at option number 1.
It does, but it also buys us time to look at option 1 and figure out how option 1 gets funded. Because right now, if I'm looking budgetary-wise, the difference between what we currently have is $327,000 a year for the cost of the transfer station. Potentially, well, we had 124, but you didn't have as many hours, so let's say 150 with the extra hours. That's about a $170,000 savings. Even if our hauls go up, we're not going to use up $170,000, I wouldn't think, in 1 year. It will buy us time to look at that, because even if we go the other way, we're still going to need open top dumpsters over there if we put compactors back in at some point. So, you know, I'm looking for a way that we can buy time to be able to get the accurate figures, and then can we look at an option with the compactors and having the transfer station open longer? That wasn't in your $460,000 proposal, I think. Which I don't know, did the 460 include the 86,000 for the compactors? It did, okay.
So can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
If we want to try to keep at that original 327, let's go with option 1 at the 460,000 with buying 2 compactors, 3 receivers, keeping open the hours we are right now, but eliminating the open top construction dumpsters at a savings of $155,000.
Because Adams County still allows you to bring those items down to Adams County. They're open every day of the week from what, like 7 to 3 or 4 or 5, depending on the day of the week. The only day they're closed is Sunday. So weekenders would still have a chance if they have big disposable items to take them down to Adams County.
Yes, and basically the transfer site would turn into a household garbage site and recycle site only.
See, that seems
Okay. But before I withdraw my motion, I got one more question for Brad. The $460,000 price, does that include staffing as needed to keep the transfer station open its current hours? Or was that with reduced hours?
That's what the current hours.
And add in the people needed to supervise the compactors?
We look at whether we need to add 1 or 2 more people.
All right, in that case, I will withdraw my initial motion. Supervisor Cole, are you okay with me with, oh, you're fine, okay. Then I will move that the town board authorize the Department of Public Works to obtain firm price information and cost information on the option 1, which is to have the current hours of the transportation as it exists during this past year or this current year, with the purchase of 2 new compactors that meet the required safety say 3? All right, 2 or 3, how about that? 2.
The price of the
Well, I don't know where I'm getting money from because I don't know how much it's going to cost from. All right, 2 or 3. I mean, because obviously, okay, so two compactors, three receivers. Okay. And to bring that back to us at the next board meeting for action.
If you want it at the board meeting, the budget meeting.
The budget meeting.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Start over on that motion. All right. I move that we authorize the Public Works Department to obtain firm pricing for 2025 on option 1, maintaining the transfer station as is, allowing residential garbage and yard waste recycling only. No contractor dumpsters will be available. With its current hours, with 2 new compactors, and to also contact fencing companies to get a price to install a fence that is desired by our insurance company for safety purposes. Well, then I would go back to my thing, let's go with option 2 and forget the compactors.
It's just some photo eyes and some sensors, you can put it back on. But if you're coming at it,
I'm going to withdraw my motion, because I don't like it.
Which one, Dan?
I don't get paid enough for this. All right, all joking aside.
I'll make a motion that we allow. Does the board want to have any more discussion before he withdraws, or he did withdraw that motion? He withdrew that motion. Did anybody have any other? Brad, did you want to add anything? I know we have to move forward too for your budget planning for 2025 and the numbers you need to work with, and this has gone on. So you need something from us tonight, I understand that. That doesn't mean I'm pushing a decision here. That you can see that we're all trying to do the right thing based on what we want for the community, but still keep everybody safe. He's going to refigure out flow and everything else as part of this entire process, correct? Yes. So the traffic flow, the brush, all of it will be rearranged. Does that need to be anything from us, or you just know you go ahead and do that? We just You just want us to do something to get you started for the budget planning for 2025, hiring, that sort of thing.
Yes, actually, I gotta put numbers together here within a week. I need to know what we're doing.
All right. So do you want to try your motion again? Do you want to, please?
I'm getting rid of the compactors. All right, I'm going back to option number 2. I move that the town board authorize the Department of Public Works to obtain firm cost estimates for option number 2, no compactors, open top dumpsters, with the current hours that the transfer station is open. I further authorize that the Public Works Department also obtain information on the cost of maintaining the contractor dumpsters. This means, and this doesn't be part of the motion, but this means that the transfer station will be open as it is now. Mattresses, tires, chairs, so on and so forth. Without just sans compactors.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Supervisor Minter, a second by Supervisor Gabriel for discussion.
The discussion I want to have is, people keep saying contractor dumpsters. There's a lot of homeowners that are using these and they're not, I mean, I agree, we have an issue with contractors going into that dump. I've talked to DPW guys, they're abusing our system. I do believe we need a better system in place, but to call the open containers contractor dumpsters, a lot of us homeowners have something that doesn't fit in the compactor, so we do what we're supposed to do and not crammed in there to bind up the compactor. We put it into the right dumpster. But I would agree, if you are a company that is doing bath remodeling and you decide not to let out your truck, but you got your roam tag, you're not allowed to go to the dump every day it's open and dump your tile and all of that us residents are picking up. Maybe it's time that contractor's gonna hate me for this one, I mean, we have to raise fees, and maybe we have to raise fees on the residents too for dressers, beds, anything that's larger than a certain size. I don't know the answer to this, but I'd like to talk to Brad privately once and get some more information. So I don't like to be called contractors dumpsters, so I guess is my
Can
point.
I correct that right now? We refer to them as construction dumpsters, not contractor dumpsters. Let's kind of get that right away. And one thing you might want to consider, the town of Rome is the only town in Adams County that has open top construction dumpsters.
It works for Brad, the one comment though, I did respond to somebody, they continue to raise the tippage fees at Adams County, and they've been going up on a regular basis.
Yes.
And they're having issues with one of the cells down there, and they may have to build another one. So this isn't just an answer for now. I mean, this goes well into the future. The years coming up, we will see more and more increases in what it costs us for our waste disposal and everything else. And I certainly understand, I don't want to see refrigerators and tires on the trails anymore in our woods. Because it was bad when we first started coming up here too. Because they didn't take them here. You had to go down to Adams County and people didn't want to take the 20-minute ride to do that. So, but.
Or pay the $20 that we are paying.
Can I add one more thing to Supervisor Minter's motion?
Well, we could charge $20. What did you say, how much it was?
I've been dropping off some furniture, and they've been charging me $20.
Right, I paid, you mean at our transfer site?
Yes.
Right, I paid that too, other people have paid that, so.
So I don't know where he's coming up with his number.
Yeah, choose to reuse, just a comment on that, and I know Brad could speak to this, choose to reuse does take it, but if it gets soiled, damaged by the weather, or the animals, the feral animals, play on it, eat it up, chew it up, sleep on it, it's ruined and it goes in our dumpster and that person didn't pay $20. So they're abusing choose to reuse. So that was one thing that had been brought to my attention when I did speak with Brad today. So, I mean, that's something we need to think about as well. All right, so do you have your motion? Any more discussion?
May I say something?
Brad?
If you're Supervisor Minter, if your proposal is for 2025 to not buy compactors and run all open tops for household garbage, and also allow construction waste in those open top dumpsters, we are going to be full by noon on Saturday. We need to have compactors. If we're going to,
Get a waiver.
If we're gonna be full by noon on Saturday and we're going open top, then I'd say we need more open top dumpsters. You know, I get it, I know what you're saying, but I am not comfortable with the compactor thing. I'm also not comfortable forcing all of us to go to residential pickup. We need something that's in the middle there, and I don't know what that is, so that's why I would like to see a realistic expectation. You know how many hauls you've had this year, so take that number and increase it by a reasonable number, and then plug the numbers in and bring them back to us, and then we can compare an apple to an apple. We'd have this many hauls if we had compactors, we'd anticipate this many hauls if we don't have compactors. Because then that gets us those two prices that we need. If we put compactors in, we need maybe 2 staff that are standing by the compactors. Versus if we don't have compactors, we might need a staff person directing traffic, but we wouldn't necessarily need 2 people directing traffic.
I respect what you're saying. I think it's very accommodating and we're doing what we can, but it's also still too open-ended for them
No, it's not.
to plan.
It's
Accurate prices on both options.
Brad,
I don't think it's too open-ended. I think it's getting accurate prices on the 2 options, and then we make a decision when we know what cost, what number 1 exactly, well, estimate of what number 1 will cost, estimate of what number 2 will cost. I know it's not the motion.
I'm sorry, that's not what your motion was.
I know. My motion was to stick with, was to have a price out option number 2, and I still stick with that motion, so I guess I'll call my own question.
Supervisor Minter has made a motion that we go with option number 2 and get more,
Get accurate prices.
and get accurate prices. All right, how about we do this? We know nobody refers to option number 3. Nobody wants it closed. We know that. We seem to go back and forth between, with all these different things we add on and take off, add on, take off. How about we say that we're interested in both 1 and 2, and we need the numbers by budget time, by our first budget meeting, so that we can make a decision between either 1 or 2, which gives us a combination of just, all right, I will make the motion.
Yeah, I'll withdraw my motion.
I will make the motion that we allow our management team, I'm speaking as loud as, no, that's, I know, I'm sorry. I'm trying to read and talk and do 3 things at one time, and it's not working out well right now. Have our management team look at options 1 and 2 and bring back accurate numbers, or as close as you can be with some estimates for making a decision between options 1 and options 2 with more clarity for us. Does that sound reasonable? All right, so we have a motion by the chairwoman that we have the management team focus on 1 or 2, bring us back numbers as best as they possibly can, because some of this we got to be realistic that they can't project all of that or know all of that for our first budget meeting. Is that okay? All right. Any more board discussion? Any more board discussion? All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all for your time and your input and everybody's patience.
May I say one thing?
Well, then everybody else, and there's everybody wanting to say, I want to say something, and it's not fair to them.
What about shredding equipment for the top load dumpster? It makes the garbage smaller. I've never heard anybody say anything about shredding equipment.
These are all options I'm sure that I appreciate your comment, I'm sure the management team has considered all these things, just like the severity of how, if any of you have ever worked with, what did you say, lockout, tagout, you're familiar with that, I'm sure you are too with having worked at grocery, breaking down boxes. I did at Target as a student in college. We trust them to do their work and bring us back these numbers. Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am.
Transfer station stays open.
We could talk to our staff and they could put something on our. Okay. Duly noted. Duly noted.
So what's the transfer
We gotta get back to our meeting, please. Could you call them at another time? Can you do it at another time? We want to go back into the other room. I'll adjourn the meeting to the boardroom, please. for the corner of Highway 13 and Alpine Drive. We're going to let Jackie take the lead on this from CDA.
This is more or less, oops, sorry.
Do we have cameras on? We do now. Okay.
This is more or less I'm going to refer to it as kind of a housekeeping item because CDA, Community Development Authority, had a meeting at which time we discussed and it was on our agenda and we approved the purchase of 4 black spruce pine trees. And these pine trees would be planted out where the current old crusty tree is in front of the town hall building. The purpose of it is part of beautification project and in working with the Christmas in Rome committee to, which more of that's coming up later on the agenda, to enhance that area and put these pine trees in. So the pine trees were $99 each. The money comes out of the CDA budget. It wouldn't be before you, except it was put on the CDA agenda in a form that didn't allow us to vote on it. So we're just asking the town to approve the purchase of these 4 trees. If you'd like to see them, they're actually already here.
In other words, this is just a
It's
formality.
more of a formality item to get the approval of the 4 pine trees.
And as the trees get bigger, will they eventually become part of the Christmas decorations?
Yes, that's the idea, that these trees will grow. They were purchased from the place on Highway 53 in Plover that sold Christmas trees for a long time. Now it's Green Tree Storage that used to sell Christmas trees. So they are Black Hill spruce, and they will grow to about 20 feet wide and 30 feet tall. The idea is to put lights on them, similar to what you might see at the hospital, where they have the Lights of Hope or different organizations light up the trees. However mannerism they get lit, that's the concept. So that's what I'm looking for. So I'll make a motion to approve the purchase of the Black Hill spruce trees for the corner of Highway 13 and Alpine Drive.
I'll second.
Go.
All right, I'll give it to Cheryl.
Give it to Cheryl.
Okay, we have a motion by Supervisor Minter, a second by Supervisor Evenson for the approval of the request from the CDA for the purchase of Black Hill spruce trees for the corner of Highway 13 and Alpine Drive. Any more discussion?
I think somebody out there had a question or.
Well, I mean, a purchase of the trees isn't just a purchase of the trees, it's maintenance, ongoing maintenance of the trees to make them look nice, because a tree that just grows doesn't look pretty after a while. You have maintenance of trees, purchasing of trees, it's not just $400 to purchase trees, and then you got planting trees and maintaining the trees, maintenance for putting lights on the trees. There's a lot that goes into just purchasing a couple trees. So I think it's irresponsible to just say that it's only $100 per tree.
Okay, well, thank you for your comment.
My name is Kimberly Carlson, 1006 South Archers Way. Thank you.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action. Approval of Snow Bandits' request to decorate the southeast corner of the town hall property for Christmas.
Move to approve the request of the Snow Bandits to decorate the southeast program of the corner of the town hall property.
I'll second it, but we will have for discussion, and we welcome Trail Boss Jerry Wiesinger.
Well, there's a lot of discussion for this.
All right, Jackie has some items.
Jerry was going to offer before he made the motion. Do you want to explain?
Yeah, I will. Just, my original presentation was going to be, the Snow Bandits have been decorating the southeast corner for 20-plus years. Decoration last year was not our best display that the club has done, because the Christmas in Rome committee decided to move all the decorations and lighting down to the town center park. A few Snow Bandits decided that the club still wanted to put decorations on the corner, so at the last minute, they moved the decorations that we had in the rumor shed down there and set them up. But Larry and Kathy Halverson had always coordinated this project, and with Larry's passing before that, there was nobody there to tell everybody where to put stuff, and so it got put wherever it was, and it was not good. So we apologize for doing a poor decorating job last year. At Saturday's club meeting, The membership voted to support decorating the corner and has allotted $500 to update and replace our decorations as needed, and also including the lighting. The committee was established to update the decorations and work with Christmas in Rome Committee to come up with a layout. And the committee is moving many of these activities. The Christmas in Rome Committee is now moving a lot of activities back to the town center, town hall park, or the town hall this year. And so snow bandits are going to be involved in that also. So it'd be good to have decorations out there. So we're asking permission to decorate the corner, and we would also ask permission to decorate those trees that are going to be planted. We'll put lights on them, and we'll do that each year until they get too big to reach the top, about 4 years from now.
I think we have a ladder, but you can't go on it. You have to have one of your young club
They grow
members.
fast. I did put those out in front of my house, and they were 5-footers 18 years ago, and they're now over 25 feet high.
Wow.
They're beautiful.
Yep.
And you don't have any maintenance on them. There's no trimming or nothing on black or spruce. They're nice shape.
Beautiful trees.
And we'd also like permission to display our club banner on the corner like we have in the past, just so if people got complaints, they know who to address them to and not to the town.
Do you think you could possibly come up with maybe a smaller banner that doesn't block the decorations you put up? Because last year it was right in front of your decorations, and
We can do
something
that.
smaller that draws attention to your name, because people know you do it.
got a
Your
couple
club does
smaller
it.
banners. We can
But
use one of
something
them.
nice, not maybe one that's used for a picnic or something. That would be awesome.
So
All right.
are we still in discussion?
Yes, ma'am.
Could I ask Supervisor Minter to amend his motion to include the facts that the Rome Snow Bandits will decorate on that corner in cooperation and with the Christmas in Rome Committee, and that they will provide a design of what will be put on that corner?
Yes, I would amend my motion to include their cooperation with Christmas in Rome Committee and putting together a good design.
All right, and I'll amend my second to include the same. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Design plan need to go to.
I think just within the committee that you have it available.
Maybe if you want to bring a copy to the town to share it with the town administrator and the finance director, that would be great, Jerry. Thank you very much for your presentation. All right, number 14, discussion and possible action, request from Visit Rome, Wisconsin for financing assistance for the Link the Lakes project. I think we have representatives here this evening, Lisa Kubis, who's their executive director, and Mary. Oh, the way she said it. I know her maiden name, but I'm not going to try that one.
Is this on?
Yeah, it
Okay.
should be okay. Did he plug it in when he brought it in?
I mean, can you hear me? Is it on?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so again, my name is Lisa Kubis. I'm the executive director of Visit Rome. For those that are not familiar with the Link the Lakes project, it's a project that includes a tunnel under Highway 13 near Avocados, a paved 1-mile trail from the west end of the tunnel, northbound to Anawa, and includes a bridge over 14 Mile Creek. We know providing safe access to the outdoors enhances public health and quality of life, both physically and mentally. With the average age in Rome being 63.4, paved trails are especially important. Approximately 2 years ago, when Visit Rome and the town of Rome started serious discussions about Link the Lakes and hired Jewel Engineering for the design, we all understood the importance of creating safe places to walk, run, and ride bikes for residents as well as visitors. Visit Rome spent approximately $125,000 with Jewel Engineers on the initial design of the tunnel, trail, and bridge. So to make Link the Lakes a reality for this community, among other external factors that we are currently working to put in place, we really need 3 things from the town. Number 1, since Visit Rome is a nonprofit, we will need the town to co-sign a loan with Nakusa Port Edward State Bank for an amount in the range of $300,000 to $500,000, with Visit Rome obviously taking on the monthly payments. To clarify, we don't have a document for you to sign. It's just really important for us to understand that if one is presented to you within the next 12 months, that you would be willing to co-sign the loan. I have Mary here. She's going to give you a little more detail on that.
Okay, my name is Mary Sigler-Bernarski from the Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, and I'm also on the board of Visit Rome. Speaking from the bank's point of view, there are a couple of reasons why we're asking the town of Rome to co-sign on the loan with Visit Rome. The first thing is Visit Rome exists because of the agreement between Visit Rome and the town of Rome. And thus the only way to secure funding for Visit Rome would be for the town to co-sign on the loan. On this type of loan, there'd be no physical collateral. The cash flow, the only source of repayment is the cash flow. So the bank simply is just making sure that the loan, doing our own due diligence, that the loan would get repaid. And I want to take the time to say that we are able to offer a loan length that matches or is less than the current agreement date between the town of Rome and Visit Rome, which is until January 1st of 2031. So this makes the project feasible and the monthly payments in general manageable. And so I know not all of you were board members at the time of that extensions, but I still just want to say thank you for that extension because of that we're able to look at long-term projects and make the payments are able to be feasible. The long-term project is able to be feasible. And the second reason, Nakusa Port Edward State Bank, we're able to offer an attractive and affordable rate if the town of Rome co-signs on the loan, because then we can classify it as a municipal loan. I don't know what the rate environment will be when the town of Rome when Visit Rome is requesting the funding. I don't know if that's going to be in the spring of next year or later next year. I can't project or predict interest rates, but I can tell you if we were to ask for the loan right now, the loan rate would be a 4.99%. And if anybody knows the financial world, commercial prime is 8% right now. So that 3% difference over the life of a 5-year loan would be a cost savings to Visit Rome of $42,000, just to put that in perspective. And just for your reference, 4.99 was also the rate that Nakusa Port Edward State Bank was able to get Tri-Lakes Management District on their nano bubbler funding. So that's from my bank perspective. From Visit Rome perspective, I just want to reiterate that Visit Rome isn't asking for financial assistance. I think that wording is a little misleading. We're simply asking for the town of Rome to co-sign on the loan. Visit Rome will be making those payments. So as long as the agreement is in place between town of Rome and Visit Rome, I want to say that there's zero risk, but with everything you do, there's at least a little bit of risk. So virtually no risk is what I'll say. So in order to proceed in signing the contract with the engineering firm, we, as Visit Rome, would need to know that we have the ability to finance a portion of the project.
So number two, the town would need to sign an MOA with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation. It stands for a memo of agreement for maintenance of the tunnel and the trail. Dave Murat has already reached out to Brad Martinson to discuss what that would look like. In terms of maintenance costs, following what the estimates would be, regular annual maintenance would be under $10,000. It would include mowing. It would include the electric for the lights in the tunnel and light bulb replacement. Long-term or incidental costs could be, crack filling would have to be done every 5 to 10 years. That would be at a cost of about $5,000. Tunnel inspection every 2 to 3 years would be $1,500. And in the case if there was graffiti, if there was graffiti in the tunnel, probably $500. There would be a shield that would be applied in the tunnel for easy removal of any graffiti. So number 3 would be, I was told we would have to do a conditional use permit and a site plan of operation. I know that's nothing we can address here, but that is something that we would need from the town to move forward. So in conclusion, Visit Rome is about to spend another $100,000 to finish up the design to make it shovel ready. And I just wanted to let you know it's essential that we get support from the town. Know that you'd be willing to co-sign the loan and that you would be open to the maintenance agreement with the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
On the maintenance,
Yep.
snow removal included in there?
That would be, I mean, we don't have to have it open in the winter. I mean, I guess that would be a discretion of the town if they would want it open in the winter.
The 10,000 was annually, but not including winter.
Correct. Mowing is 6,000, the electricity is about 1,800, light bulb replacement about $100.
Thought with the electricity of putting in solar panels, I know solar is a bad word in this town, but putting in like a little solar panel to operate the lights?
I mean, I can ask Jewel to
See what the price would
to
be
look
on
into it.
'Cause I
Yep.
mean, if we're talking $1,000 a year for the lights,
Yep.
you know, you see stoplights with solar panels on them now.
Yep. Our kayak unit is running by solar panels.
Okay, so.
I guess I might add, I'm the town advisor, and I attend all the Visit Rome meetings. This is a way to get this project done and connect the dots, so to speak. This is a just under $2 million project. And so the funding is going to come from Visit Rome, potentially from the Legacy Foundation, who has not agreed to, previously they agreed to an amount, but we will be going back to them. But it's sort of a circle. We can't go back to them and ask for money if we can't tell them that we have the town's support to put in the trails. So it's a connect the dots. I mean, this needs to happen for this project to go forward, basically. And it is something that people want, and it's safety factor to join the two sides of the town together, so.
So the site plan of operation and conditional use permit, what all does the town have to?
That
I can-
they,
I can
yeah,
probably
maybe,
speak
because we
a
just
little bit
found
to
out
that.
about that like this week, that we
Yeah,
needed that.
I did just connect with the zoning administrator to discuss kind of timelines, because that's, you know, one of the critical pieces of that. I believe she has reached out or will be reaching out very shortly to Lisa, and provided we get the documentation that we need, that's going to be set for the October Plan Commission meeting. Conditional use permits don't go to the town board, but the site plan of operation would, which, you know, from that standpoint, it's going to be for, as I understand it, a portion of the properties that are along Gateway that are then, since they fall under civic use, would require the conditional use permit. And then we're going to kind of dovetail the site plan of operation with the conditional use permit, since there's so much overlap with the things that'll need accompany the conditional use permit.
So who actually, you may have said this and I missed it, but who actually owns it then once it's constructed? Who's ultimately, other than maintenance, who owns it and who's responsible for it if something devastating happens to it?
Probably the town.
Okay. I think there's there's support for it, and I understand what you're asking about and going around, but I think what would be important to have, no different than what people wanted us to see just when we're talking about a possible change at their transfer site, it would be good to have some of these things on a piece of paper. Not that I'm not trusting what you're telling us, but I think if we're making a commitment to something, it would be no different if we co-signed for anybody else for any sum of money. I don't know, maybe we could ask the town attorney to address some of this for us.
Maybe just a couple thoughts as I was jotting some notes down as I was kind of thinking through the co-signing piece. Obviously, we've taken on debt to cover, you know, loans for others in the past. I think depending if you want to move forward with that, I would say that you'd make that contingent, as we do with all borrowing that we do, on Ellers reviewing that and giving a recommendation maybe on type of financing and how we want to structure that. Second, maybe they would also have some input on any kind of agreement that we would want to have in place to limit our exposure. That might include some of the things that might mitigate risk, such as, I'm not the expert there, but bonding or some kind of assurance that we would have that it would be paid back. But we would have an agreement, just like we've had with other entities that we've taken on debt for.
Especially if they're not even sure what they're gonna be doing possibly for another year or year and a half. We should have something in writing, but something you said about financing, I think a question went up, but we've done this in the past when we've done loans with Nakusa Port Edward State Bank. We still went to our financial advisors to tell us what the proper channels are for co-signing and what we would expect as a co-signer.
When we take on debt, we've always checked with Ellers to understand our financial risk, exposure, and maybe ways to structure the borrowing and also structure the agreement.
Even though it goes through Nakusa Port Edwards like we've done in the past?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Did you?
I think just to clarify, we're not talking about this starting in a year and a half. We're talking about this starting in the spring.
Oh, I'm sorry, I
We're
thought you said
trying-
you may not
Trying to
know
get
how
this-
much you want between 3 and, for my clarification,
Well,
then I
we,
must have
we,
missed it. You don't
we
know.
were given a range, the construction costs.
I see.
The construction costs are anywhere from
I
1.2 to 1.7 million we were given. So we need to flex that loan amount.
Let me just chime.
I think Mary wanted to add something though, if you could let.
I was just gonna talk about Ellers. I understand the due diligence that you guys have to do to go to Ellers and whatnot, but from the bank and from a financial point of view, I know you mentioned bonding or going out to Ellers to see other financing. There's more costs associated with that, so I don't know how that would play into this, to reach out to Ellers and to see those costs. Did you specifically say just to see our options?
Yeah, I think as we have in the past, we would go to Ellers to understand, we would probably take that range that is being proposed and vet that with Ellers to understand maybe the options for borrowing. There are other, potentially other options for borrowing, and also what that, what impact that would have that we might want to take into account for and build into an agreement with Visit Rome.
Okay. Well, I think Nakusa Port Edward State Bank has always been an asset for this community.
Oh,
I know you're not arguing that.
No,
But I know with Ellers, there's prepayment penalties, there's higher closing costs, there's higher fees. I mean, we wanna do what's best for the community, best for Town of Rome, but the best for Visit Rome as well, so, I just wanna put that out there.
Okay.
And maybe I should have given you a little more background on the project. So we're about to spend $100,000 to finish off the design portion. I mean, the design is done, but things like the transportation management plan has to be done, the signing and pavement plan has to be done. So we're about to move forward on that, so we can go out to bid for construction in January, with
So you're ready for-
construction
you're
in the
ready for
spring.
bids. You're ready for bids almost. Cool, okay.
But, set the record, straight, I also sit on Visit Rome. But the problem Visit Rome Board has right now is we don't want to hire and spend another $100,000 to get the project shovel-ready if Visit Rome doesn't have the commitment from this town board. Then we're going to say, okay, we're done, we're into it for $100,000, let's move on to something else. So I think that Lisa is standing there today because we already had all the drawings. I mean, they were back when Jamie was here. We had public hearings, we saw the tunnel, all that. Visit Rome had support before. There's been elections. Is this board behind this project so that Visit Rome can take the next step to say, okay, we're willing to pay for the final phase, get it shovel-ready so we can go out to bid, but then we can't come back to this board and say, it gets shot down by this board when we just spent $100,000, because now we can't get a loan. So I think she's looking for a commitment from this board to say, go ahead, proceed. We will, I guess the word is co-sign. In all honesty, we don't know an amount yet. We don't have the final dollars yet. But Visit Rome doesn't want to throw $100,000 out the window if this board's going to be like, no, we're not We're not doing anything. So
I mean,
she's trying to feel us out as a board, I feel, unless
Yeah,
I'm
no.
misspeaking, Lisa.
No, it's true. Mary and I talked. I mean, I really need to gauge support. Otherwise, you know, we don't want to spend. We have spent an enormous amount of time and money on this project.
And discussion, hours upon hours upon hours upon days.
So I understand that, but I think as we still have to be responsible as far as our financial advisors go. That's a step we always take for any sort of bonding or loaning or borrowing or co-signing that we've ever done. I don't think that means that we don't support it, but we have to make sure whatever bonding we have coming up won't potentially, I mean, granted, it's only $300,000 to $500,000, but we have to make, that's what Ellers tells us, and I think that's our due diligence. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think it's just the diligence part of it. It's just, you can decide to do something, just make it contingent on a confirmation from our
Right.
financial advisor that it's not going to
Yeah,
impact our.
We should have a contingency.
I like that idea, we make it contingent upon positive advice from our financial advisor.
Because I think we should definitely, you know, I personally feel we should need to support them in what they're doing. But we do need to also double check to make sure, so that it's all gonna work out for the best.
Right. I think they're just here asking for that support, and if these, and to look at the financing options. You're not signing anything today. You're not saying, yes, we're committed. You're just saying we're behind the project, and we will look at these options to borrow this money and contact Ehlers if that's the route that it seems as though you want to take. But also, I think you should express to Ehlers that Nakusa Port Edward State Bank has offered the loan that they have, or if that's appropriate, I don't know. But they're just looking for a commitment to allow to move forward with the project.
I don't know that we would look for anything from Ellers other than to say how this would impact the loan that
Right.
we would want to take
Okay.
out, where they
So
want to do
whatever's
it.
That's all we're-
appropriate.
yeah, That's all we're saying.
So,
That's all I'm suggesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
If I could just say one thing, and I know, I'm sure you guys know this, but the debt that the town can take on is 5% of the equalized value.
Yes, we know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
we
so
also have
that's-
water mains that are coming up that aren't doing very well, and we also have road work that we haven't determined an amount yet for. And even though this is still
75 million?
75 million.
It's 5% of the 1.5 billion equalized.
Well, I don't
value.
think sarcasm's gonna help you at all, but
I
I know
don't-
what you're talking, we know
I
what
think
our
that's a
math is.
fact.
You have
We are not
support, you
talking
have
about borrowing
support.
$75 million for
You
the
have
for the
support, but
audience
we
out there.
have in our financial policy a responsibility to do our due diligence and check with our financial
And
advisor.
I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that, but I'm
That's
just,
all I was saying, that doesn't equate to not supporting you.
Lisa, I have a question for
Yep.
you. Regarding your, looking at repaying the loan, that I'm assuming, obviously, the loan payment becomes part of the Visit Rome budget, which of course is funded by your share of the room tax dollars.
Yep.
Should for some reason or another Visit Rome disappear, the room tax dollars are still there, which is what was being used to pay the loan back anyhow, so.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right.
I mean, and, you know, I have to point, there is that other piece of this, of maintenance agreement does have to be signed. The town of Rome and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
So that's between, oh, go
So
ahead.
right now, just so I'm understanding, because I wrote those down, and I had just made a note that right now, our public works director is working with them to
Yep.
understand exactly what that looks like.
Yep.
So we don't know exactly what it looks like, other than it's being worked on right now.
Correct. Well, we have estimated costs that we've talked to Jewel about, I've talked to Brad, well, from previous discussions a while back. But
Have you included the finance director and administrator in on those discussions with Brad, or it's still
No.
coming to light?
I mean, this
So
was,
we really
this
don't
was
know.
before their
Okay.
time. I mean, this
Pardon?
project, it was before their time.
Okay. All right. No, I think you have the support. It's just a matter again of doing our responsible
But I
due
think we
diligence.
can make a motion tonight with the contingency of
What?
Ellers.
I'm just answering a question Wendy had. It's disregard, it's nothing.
I move that the town of Rome co-sign the loan for Visit Rome for further work on the Link the Lakes project, contingent upon us receiving positive advice from our town financial advisor. That work?
Well, we need the other piece too, the
Do one
agree,
at a time.
oh, okay. Okay.
What's the other piece?
The maintenance agreement. The MOA with.
Well, you can make it all in the same motion, or should,
Short motion. We'll do two motions.
A second.
we have a motion by Supervisor Minter, a second by Supervisor Cole for the request from Visit Rome, Wisconsin for financing assistance for Link the Lakes projects. Did you get everything he stated? All right, as was stated. He makes them a little lengthy sometimes. I have trouble remembering.
And he does, maybe you need
Just
10
chop
more.
a few words out. Discussion, please, and I think, did anybody, Attorney Flanagan, did you have something you wanted to add, or?
The only question I had just checked with Administrative Lobby on is, I think as we've done this in the past, we've also entered into an agreement with that entity that we co-signed with. I remember when we did Pritzels, I think we had an agreement with them. I believe we also had an
Breyer.
agreement with others. So we would probably get that from our financial advisor, but as long as we have an understanding that that would likely be a part of this as well, we'd work with Visit Rome to get that agreement in place, just to set the terms and the expectations of payment.
That makes sense. I figured that was going to be included in the process of all that anyhow.
That's all I had in addition to it.
Okay, any more discussion? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Town Board authorize the Department of Public Works and Public Works Director Brad Martinson to continue work with Visit Rome and the Wisconsin Department of Transportation to work out a MOA regarding the annual and ongoing maintenance of the Link the Lakes project. Is that enough for tonight?
And the MOA will come back likely to you all once all the terms get worked through.
I mean, I don't think any of the costs will be in the MOA. That's just kind of an agreement that says we'll take care of it.
What has to all be in there, so.
Correct.
A second.
So we have a motion by Supervisor Minter, a second by Supervisor Cole, and I don't remember any of it, so. Would you please repeat it?
To authorize the Public Works Director to continue to work with Visit Rome and the DOT on the MOU for the Link the Lakes project.
It's MOA, sorry.
For just point of discussion, would it make sense to also include the town administrator and
Thank you. I was
treasurer
gonna make that
in
friendly
this
amendment.
conversation?
Yes, I think they should be.
I'm good with adding that to the motion. Well, we say town administrator, public works director, and town finance director.
I'll amend the second.
So we have a motion and a second by Supervisor Minter and Supervisor Cole for financial assistance for the Link the Lakes. And we'll have some paperwork come forward to us at a subsequent meeting for review and passing, correct?
You're on the
Okay.
MOA.
I'm assuming that MOA will have a signature line for the town to sign.
And then once we have the Ellers information, we'll have some sort of document too as to what we're committing with, like you presented earlier, correct?
Certainly, you're going to have another action item for the actual financing.
Okay. All right, great. All right. So we're all set? Oh, all in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, discussion and possible action. Approval of the Lexico policy implementation.
More to read? Oh, my God.
We can share. Oh,
So in your packets, you'll kind of see the index for these policies. So in the past, the board has approved each policy, just looking for direction from the board. Lexipol recommends 100.3, which has the blueprint on it. I added the blueprint because I think that's important that the town board would see those policies. But just making sure that I can go ahead and roll. These policies are pre-written by the company we paid to write them, just looking for permission to roll them out as we implement the policy manual.
So it looks like the only thing added in here is,
I added the blue policies
blue
governing
piece.
employee benefits and wages, along with any financial policy shall be approved by the Town of Rome Board prior to Town Board Administrator adoption.
So that's the only change, and otherwise this has been previously approved?
This is, we purchased the policy manual from Lexipol, so
Okay.
the attorneys wrote all of these policies and we're just implementing them as they recommended. This is the first policy that covers
Oh.
the policy manual and how you adopt the other policies in the manual.
Because we previously purchased the Lexipol, now we're just
Okay.
adopting this initial policy in the policy with this change.
And so before the town board would adopt each one of these policies, every time a change was made, Lexipol puts out regular changes to this manual as case law changes. That'd be very cumbersome to every meeting have a policy change that's on your agenda to approve. So we're asking to approve the policies as recommended by Lexipol without coming before the town board unless they involve benefits, wages, or finances.
In other words, it's setting the expectation of which policies would come before you all
Mhm.
versus those as they're pushed out, that will just be updated and adopted.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve the implementation of the Lexipol policy.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Minter, a second by Supervisor Evenson. Thank you for keeping it short. Approval of the Lexipol policy implementation. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, number 16, discussion and possible action, recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding consideration of the removal of the short-term rental conditional use permit for the following properties due to 12 months of inactivity: 344 13th Drive, 386 Lancer Court, 656 17th Drive, and 1343 Bogey Trail.
I make a motion that we accept the recommendation from the Planning Commission for the removal of the short-term rental, as stated.
I'll second.
We have a motion by Supervisor Evenson, second by Supervisor Cole, to approve the recommendation from the Plan Commission regarding the consideration of the removal of the short-term rental conditional use permits for the properties presented due to inactivity.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
just because it's a different date and in case anybody kind of follows back to
Oh.
that as I announce it. So this one was set for a public hearing on August 13th, 2024, at the Plan Commission meeting, after which the Plan Commission did make the recommendation to remove those conditional use permits.
Thank you for the staff update. All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Number 19, discussion and possible action, consideration of fire protection and prevention agreement between the town of Rome and town of Leola. Come on up, Fire Chief. And we'll let,
I had to wake up again.
oh,
I can set the stage as he's.
Yes, you
as he's
can.
making his way up, just to.
as he,
So in your packets for this evening, you have a proposed fire protection and prevention agreement. Those that have seen it in the past may recognize some of the similarities to the one that we have with the town of Saratoga. This proposes a coverage of the town of Leola, the entire town though. And so I'll leave it there for a moment and let the fire chief give some additional thoughts, and then I will take you through some of the key points of this particular agreement, and we'll be happy to answer questions.
We had a request made by the town of Leola to provide some numbers for coverage of their township for the fire and rescue services. After analyzing their call volume, we were able to put a numbers to that listed in here as that $20,000 mark for a period of first 5 years, and then a CPI adjustment following that for the remaining 5 years of the term, with a maximum of 4%. This would not require the town of Rome to add any additional equipment to our fleet. Their call volume is approximately 22 calls a year. 18 of them being for medical service and two for fires, 2 for rescue. So something that would very, very easily fit into the structure that we already have.
I'm not real familiar with Leola. Whereabouts Whereabouts is that?
It is exactly east of the town of Rome. We share the border at 7th Avenue, and then they go over to the county line.
Seventh Avenue over there? Okay, thank you.
Population of about 280.
Okay. That's my next question.
All right, so just building on that, as it was mentioned, so this is set up as a 10-year agreement as proposed. The first 5 years would be flat at the $20,000 mark. Starting at year 6, that would be then subject to CPI increases each of those years through year 10. And then it is capped at the 4% mark. That gives a little bit of planning ability for both us and for the town of Leola as they kind of look at what year 10 could look like and plan accordingly. So other than that, the agreement itself is structured exactly the same as the town of Saratoga's agreement, the one that we have with them. And again, just that it would be providing the service to all of the town of Leola.
Because of good collaboration and cooperation, work with our neighbors, and it provides us the doorway to possibly do some additional things in the future, so.
Mark, can I just ask you one, what do they currently have? Do they have a volunteer that they're just mantling?
No, they are currently served by the town of Plainfield.
Okay.
And again, we did not go soliciting, we were approached.
Okay.
Do you know why?
I do not.
Wonder if Plainfield was charging more? I don't know. We don't know.
I think the response time is less in some of the areas because they've considered other services from us because we're closer to the majority of their population.
And your men and women, you don't think you're short staffing your guys at all by taking on another area?
Not at all.
Okay.
Oh, let's see. I will move, well, are we adopting it? Is that where?
So you would be approving the agreement as proposed?
Okay.
And then our step then from there will be to provide it to the town of Leola for their consideration and possible
Okay.
action.
Then I move that the town of Rome approve the fire protection and prevention agreement as presented with the town of Leola.
Okay. We have a motion by Supervisor Cole, a second by Supervisor Minter for the approval of the proposed fire protection and prevention agreement between the town of Rome and town of Leola. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Discussion and possible action. Don't go away. Request from the fire chief to dispose of obsolete equipment which is no longer serviceable.
So we were notified a couple years ago by by Physio Control, the manufacturer of Life Pack 500s, that once they went into service mode, they would no longer be supported due to technology increases. Most of our Life Pack 500s have served us for approximately 20 years.
Wow.
So we currently have 3 that are in that service mode of the 500s, and then the Life Pack 12 is also in that same category. They're no longer supported by the manufacturer, so there is no service available to it anymore. And again, that unit is 15 plus years old. So with that, they are essentially paperweights. The town does own a fleet of Life Pack 500s. We've used them for years and years as our cardiac defibrillators. So we will be experiencing purchase costs as we go forward to replace units as they go bad.
I take it, since these are paperweights now, they're not something like we could give away to a third world country like
They're
we
in
normally
service
would
mode.
offer?
They don't work anymore.
At all, period. Okay. Dead as a doornail. Got it. That's, okay.
That's bad terminology for.
Oh, well, he said they're paperweights. I don't know.
I move that we approve the request from Fire Chief to dispose of obsolete equipment which is no longer serviceable.
It's late, I'm kidding.
And this request will come back again, as the remaining Life Pack 500s go into that.
Question for the attorney, can we just make the motion such that as they go into service mode and become inoperable, that we authorize the chief to dispose of them as as it happens?
Yes, as long as there's not some kind of other request, if there's another request to purchase other units, of course.
Well, but if we're talking only about the
If it's
disposal.
just the disposal,
Would
yes.
that be, would that make just as much sense to you?
It would,
if we just
it
made
would, because the purchase of new ones is gonna be
That's a
budgeted
separate
items.
question anyhow.
Yeah,
Then I'll
so,
amend my motion that all
Right.
of your units, you don't,
As they become unserviceable and unusable, the chief is authorized to dispose of them.
yes.
Yeah, then he doesn't have to keep coming back.
Right.
So we had a
We
motion
like
by.
to see them.
Well, he's gonna come back and wanna
Just-
buy.
What did
I
he
said, but
say?
we like to
okay,
see
he's gonna
them.
want mine. I'll be back.
All right, you
By
guys,
the
we're all getting,
firehouse.
we're all getting a little goofy here now. All right, who made the motion?
Cheryl.
Motion by Supervisor Evenson, second by Supervisor Minter, my difficult end.
Oh, no.
I know. Depends on what they want to gang up on, right? All right, any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Okay, get rid of those babies as you need to. All right. Dates and items for future agenda and meetings. Hopefully everybody's gone to sleep and nobody's.
Agenda items?
Is that what I said? Next agenda item. Don't confuse me. I did it right. You're losing me here. All right, next agenda items. Well, as we say, it'll normally build itself out, but is there anything specific that we need to, we're gonna have numbers, pardon, dear? Transfer site numbers for options 1 and 2 as best as to your abilities as we possibly can to make a decision, but we are going to have a big meeting on October 3rd. Because we have 2 guest speakers coming, one for Ellers and one for Chris.
I think you should keep your October 1st meeting.
Oh, we're gonna keep that? Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Right?
All right, October 1st is the transfer site, okay.
We were starting at 4:30, right? That day?
I believe so.
Isn't that what? we
Is
had-
that the,
That
that's
was
a
the beginning of the budget? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
first
budget
budget
meeting. My apologies, I had that wrong. I thought we were gonna try and, okay.
Jason, correct me, that was October 1st at 4:30, did you just say?
Yes. I
Thank
think
you.
you should cover those transfer site items then, and if you get a crowd, that way it can be addressed and you can be done
Be done.
when you're done with
Yeah.
that item.
Yeah.
We were gonna cancel that meeting because they have training on the other budget items later in that week, but with the developments of the transfer site, it would probably be best to handle that on that date.
Well, I feel comfortable, we have enough you'll get us enough information that we can make a sound decision that evening, so, cause we pretty much know what the wishes are, we just gotta find the right solution that fits, correct? And it's safe. All right, so, anything else? Oh, that's October 3rd. Ellers will be here,
That's
cause we have the joint,
We're
Yeah,
still
it's a
waiting for a
regular
response
meeting.
from him. We got it. We did get it?
Yeah, it's that day.
Okay, I didn't get it.
yeah, we had joint TIF review that day.
Okay, I'll send you the email. 3.
Yeah,
o'clock
joint
is
TIF,
joint TIF
yeah.
review.
And then,
CDA has to be rescheduled. Sorry, I knew I had something I had to tell you.
okay. And we also have Chris here that night, so, the next meeting date and time is October 1st at 4:30 for, initial budget talks, the transfer site. And then October 3rd, our normal board night. All right,
Is that gonna be at 5 o'clock?
our
Yeah.
normal board night, yes.
October 3rd at
Oh.
5 o'clock.
Well, we have
Regular
joint
board
TIF
meeting.
review board. We might try to meet a little bit early if that wraps up early. We'll know a little bit more.
We had something at 4:30 on that date.
Yes, we were gonna have an
Right,
explanation.
so we'll have the regular board meeting at 5.
5, yep.
Oh, all right.
Okay, I just wanted
Okay.
to double check. Thank you.
So I'm confused. On the 3rd, I need to be here at 5 PM?
Yes,
Okay.
On the 1st, we need to be here at 4:30.
yes.
And that's in this room, like,
It's a budget meeting.
well, I've never been to a budget meeting yet.
Oh, it's so much fun. You're gonna love it.
See, even she's getting silly tonight. You're gonna love it. Some of us have to be here for joint TIF review at 3, so it just makes it easier for us. All right, anything else? I adjourn this meeting.